Hassan.
Austin.
Hi, this is March, my cam op and producer.
Nice to meet you guys.
And you guys are live already, so. Okay, this is where we're gonna be hanging out.
You thinking like here or?
Yeah, I was thinking there or whatever's easiest for you guys.
You put on the light. I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Yes.
Sorry.
You guys want anything? Drink?
I'm gonna set up first and then I'll probably grab something.
Yeah, he wants food. He's hungry. He's a hungry boy. He eats all the time.
Good nachos is the word.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Chad, I'm gonna set you up. I'm gonna move this.
I feel bad leaving you with the camera.
It's okay. Chad, I'm gonna just pop a light on you. We're gonna get you seated. This is still live and hot, by the way. You can speak to Chad if you'd like. You wanna talk to them?
Hi, Chat.
Take a seat, please, I insist. That way I can also light you accordingly, too.
The vamp for the chat.
Yeah. Here, you know what? You want to yap with them? Yes, I'll show you exactly what they're saying. They're probably saying hi to you right now.
Oh, that's so nice. Hi, Chat. Like,
Don't read everything you...
Don't read everything.
Don't read everything they say.
Hi, Chat. Welcome to New York City, Long Island City. We're gonna bowl. Or not.
We'll see.
We'll see. We'll find
Playing
it
it by
out.
ear.
Yeah.
They're friendly.
How do you even read any of the things?
Yeah, it goes pretty fast. Okay, I'm gonna flashbang you, sorry.
Okay, you're good.
We run a live operation here. So
It's incredible.
they see how everything's done, even the in-between setup and stuff.
Yeah. This is some iShow speed type shit. Yeah.
They do that. Right. Us and iShow speed. That is,
Yeah.
That is
That's all we. That's all I have.
Okay. Have this on. Sit across from you, likely. Seems like the best way to do this, probably. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. I'm gonna put my table over here.
Yeah, we can move. We've got like all this territory here. If there's something else.
We have 32.
Okay. You're gonna put it there? Okay. Alright, yeah, let's do it like this. This is good. Have they been asking you questions?
I can't even tell.
Okay. Alright, well.
Hold on. 2 seconds.
Alright, 2 seconds.
Okay, I mean you can start yapping, go for it.
Alright, so we're here with Claire Valdez running for New York 7. As you guys know, I'm trying to get socialists elected, and Claire happens to be one. We're very honored and very excited to have you on the stream. You are, you've been side by side with Zohran Mamdani from the beginning of the Underdog campaign.
That's right.
You've been there from the jump, and now you're running for Congress. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure people are going to have a lot of thoughts, but let's get started on your background.
Yeah, totally. So I'm currently a New York State Assembly member, like Zohran was, and he was one of the people who actually really convinced me to run in the first place when I was running for Assembly. We had a really great conversation about what our offices can do to build socialism beyond the legislature, and it was really inspiring. But before that, I was a union member. I was at UAW 2110, and I worked at Columbia University as an administrative assistant there. And I organized alongside 500 of my coworkers who are also administrative assistants, clerical workers, call center workers, the most underpaid, hardest working people on campus. And we organized and bargained against Columbia University, a $14 billion endowment institution mostly a real estate portfolio at this point, but also happens to random things. So I got my start in union politics, and that was my introduction to this crazy world of organizing.
Okay.
I'm also a DSA member for the past 7 years, since 2019.
1 second, sorry. Is the audio too low?
Here, I'm gonna point it.
What's on? What is there? Why is the audio low on our? Is it on the microphone?
No, it's on the camera, but that should be a lot better. It's also just kind of loud in here.
Wait, is the shotgun not working?
Yeah, it is. Oh, it definitely is.
Please put the mic. It's fine. Noise gate, please. You can't noise gate in a bowling alley, chatters. Sorry. This is what happens when you have, 20, 30,000 spoiled babies in the chat, and they're literally like, oh, I have sensory issues, like I can't hear you.
It's bowling alley chat, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of noise. We'll speak up. We're all speaking up.
I'm in a crowded bowling alley. Yes, there's gonna be a lot of background noise, but can you guys actually hear us or not? Yeah, you gotta yell a little bit.
Yell.
It's not audiophile, bro. Audio's not good. Maybe, is it like the directional side of the shotgun?
Yeah, it's right here.
No, I know, but did you I might have accidentally pressed the button that is taking is focusing on the background noise. Sorry, we have to do live production tweaking like this.
You're all good.
Here's what I'll do.
I can't tell if chatters are fake saying it's fine, we can hear, or...
I'm getting some signs from my colleagues that I need to speak up. So
Yeah.
chat, I'll yell.
Because this was an issue with the protest too. I think there's something wrong with the shotgun. Maybe it's broken. Because we did a protest stream in the Ice Out nationwide protests that were happening in Los Angeles, and it was for the first time ever, like the audio was not clear at all. And normally we go to the protests and it's fine, but it's a little annoying.
I mean, you want to just listen to it yourself?
Yeah, let me hear it myself. All right, la 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 la. I'm speaking. Oh yeah, you gotta yell. That's what it is. They can hear me loud and clear, but when you yell as much as you can.
Just trying to speak directly to this as much as possible. I'll even
Alright.
cheat it a bit to you.
Yeah.
Deal. Okay. We're back.
So yeah, you organize alongside your colleagues at Columbia for the UAW, and you were talking about the clerical workers and all the people that 500 members that are some of the most undermined.
Underpaid, most invisible workers on campus who actually make the university run. We went toe-to-toe with Columbia, got to sit across the table from management to negotiate our contract. It's a transformative experience to sit across from your boss and be an equal. And that was really my start into organizing, into politics, and it's the fight that I want to take to Washington now.
Hell yeah. So what are some of the what are some of the agenda items? Like if you were to break it down Zoran style, 5 major points you want to hit on your campaign, what would you say those 5 points are? Because this is not a mayoral race.
Right.
This is a congressional race. So obviously the stakes are higher.
Yep.
You have more power, technically. I mean, I guess the
Mayor's got a lot of power.
Mayor's got a lot of power in New York.
Yeah.
But I meant you are going to be building coalitions with other progressives, inshallah, once you get in office.
Yep.
And there's going to be a legislative agenda. Obviously, it's still impacted by whether or not Democrats are going to win the majorities in both the houses, and there's still the White House.
Yep.
But let's say you are now a part of Congress, and you've been able to secure coalitions within the Congressional Progressive Caucus. What are the 5 things that you would want to bring to the table?
Yeah. So the campaign's really about housing for all, healthcare for all, unions for all, ending the genocide in Gaza, and abolishing ICE. So the big picture platform is around those 5 things. I'd say in terms of legislation, the things that I'm really excited about fighting for: passing the PRO Act finally, winning social housing across the United States and here in New York,
Okay.
Let's go.
So I love that.
Yeah.
This is something that I've had a big gripe with the national Dems, with the party in general, including but not limited to even the likes of, I would say, Bernie Sanders, because there is no real vision. Like, this is a often not discussed element of the affordability crisis that Americans are facing. And housing for all as a policy, or social housing as a policy, is, I feel like, unheard of in America, but it is definitely one of the most important aspects of, I think, a socialist position, a leftist position. So it's actually quite surprising to hear that from someone who is running for Congress.
We don't talk enough about tenants and about social housing at the national level. Oftentimes at the national level, when we talk about housing, we're talking about, tax incentives for homeowners, things like that. That the only path for stable housing is homeownership. This is a district that is 77% tenants, overwhelming percentage of tenants, and those tenants live in market rate housing. They live in rich stabilized housing, in public housing. But we need a real pathway towards true stability and decommodified housing at the federal level. AOC carries the Homes Act, and we're very supportive of that. But we need to be thinking about deeply affordable, permanently affordable, democratically managed housing, and social housing is the way forward. I was in Barcelona a few years ago doing a tour of their social housing developments there. And just beautiful, beautiful housing. We have the richest country in the world, and certainly the richest city in that country. We have the resources to make this happen.
All right, I'm going to show you a video.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to show you a video. I don't know if you've ever seen this one.
Odds are good that I have not.
You probably have seen it, but I wonder if you have. A chap might know what I'm about to show.
Oh.
Have you seen this one?
Our boy.
American housing is in crisis. Right now, up to 12 million Americans are behind an average of $5,800 on rent and risk eviction. With eviction moratoriums set to expire.
A young Zohran Mamdani.
Pre-suit Mamdani.
Yeah, pre-suit Mamdani, talking about how socialists solved the housing crisis on the Gravel Institute way back in the day. This was my first this was my first
Encounter?
This is the first time encounter. The first time I saw Zohran Mamdani, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest, he didn't leave a lasting impression on me at all, because only years later, after I had met him, people were like, "Oh, remember when you reacted to his video on the Gravel Institute?" But yeah, 2021.
Incredible. It's amazing. And I should shout out to my colleague Emily Gallagher, Assembly Member Gallagher, who carries the state version of the Social Housing Development Authority here in New York State. So lots of socialists are already working on this at the state, federal level. But it's a vision for truly equitable and socialist housing, frankly. And it's possible in other developed countries and other countries around the world. We can do it here in the United States.
Yeah, so the big focus on that piece from the Gravel Institute is obviously Red Vienna, which is a very famous, often talked about version of social housing and how it works. 65% of all of the readily available housing inventory in Austria, in Vienna, is social housing, government-owned housing. And these are beautiful apartment complexes that have a shit ton of amenities.
Pools.
Yeah, pools,
Yeah.
balconies, green spaces, third spaces where people can congregate.
Yep.
And I think one aspect that's often misunderstood about social housing is they think, oh, this is brutalist architecture, this is ugly, whatever, all this stuff. First of all, even if that was the case, I'd still prefer that to rampant homelessness, people in the wealthiest country on the planet being forced to sleep outside.
Yep.
But that's not the case anyway. And just like with adequate public transit and all these other social and welfare policies, there is a more the people become more cohesive as a unit There's a communal aspect to it.
Yep.
When you live in social housing
Yep.
such as this, where it's like mixed income for the most part as
Yep.
well, like true mixed income housing. And people learn to love their neighbors. People become more neighborly.
Absolutely.
You know, this is how you create, as conservatives love to talk about, a high trust society.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and when we really invest in these things and make them truly beautiful, the housing I saw in Barcelona was gorgeous, gorgeously designed, and it was social housing. It was also co-ops. There were a lot of different paths for kind of like truly equitable, democratically managed, and affordable homes that can look a lot of different ways as your family changes over time, as you go from being a single person to married to having children and then being an empty nester. There are many paths forward for what that housing can look like and feel like, but when we really invest in it and make it beautiful, I don't know, that builds a constituency for this kind of program too. A lot of times people just think about public housing in New York and NYC, which has been so underfunded and just gutted, and that's like a right-wing attack on a public entitlement that all New Yorkers should be able to enjoy, and that many more people should be able to enjoy as well. And so people conflate this idea with like, oh, government housing is like, you know, falling apart. And it's like, it is because we've made the political choice to abandon it and abandon those residents. And we can absolutely change that.
Same austerity
Yep.
that has impacted public schooling.
Yep.
Same initiatives that have tried to move funds away from public schools to private education, with charter schools and whatnot, with the express purpose of gutting and destroying one of the last remaining powerful labor unions in this country, the teachers union. It's the exact same issue. A lot of people don't understand that when a social policy is failing, it's actually been made to fail by the government.
Yep.
It is being made to fail deliberately by the government with the hopes that they can actually justify privatization down the line.
Absolutely.
And we see this even in places like European countries, like the UK, that has a fairly robust, fully nationalized system of healthcare.
Yeah.
They have the national healthcare system, and it's long been presented as the pride and joy of the United Kingdom. They don't get a lot of stuff right there, but that was one thing that they got right.
Really.
And that was a policy that was long and hard fought for by socialist, trade unionists, communists, making the Social Democratic Labor Party to concede on this position.
Absolutely.
And now it's a system that British people not only take for granted, but actually see as the way of the land.
Yeah.
There's no cutting the NHS, so much so that even the Tories, when they're running, like Boris Johnson, I still remember when he was running after like 10 years of Tory austerity, was still running to fund the NHS. Now he was lying, but that's important to acknowledge.
Yes.
Because once these amenities, or not even the amenities, but like once these social policies are implemented, people expect them.
Absolutely.
And people don't want them to go away. I guess Social Security is one example we can use here in the United States of America.
Medicare. The task before socialists right now is to rebuild these universal public entitlements, like Social Security, like Medicare. We need Medicare for all, absolutely. Because when you have universal programs, you build universal constituencies for those things. It's not just a service for poor people or the others, for all of us. And so NHS is incredibly popular because it services every single person in the UK. If we had a robust Medicare for all system in the United States, that services everyone.
Yeah.
No one goes without. And so of course there'll be mass investment and mass enthusiasm for such a program. When it's just for a few people, or it's means tested to shit, like no one has faith that it's going to support people.
Universality is the only path forward, because any sort of like benefits cliff creates resentment.
Yes.
It also unironically does lock people into refusing to take like there's a benefits cliff for Medicaid.
Yep.
And I know that I have a lot of members in my community that are making this really unfair choice to not take on a different job that would pay them a little bit more, because all of the benefits that they get from Medicaid once they lose that eligibility, the additional salary raise that will not make up for that benefits cliff.
Right.
So it traps people into a version of poverty.
Yep.
Universality addresses this problem.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I think that's precisely the reason why capital owners do not want it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. No, again, and when you build universality into these programs, that's an entire constituency of people who cannot be ignored, of people who are, God forbid, triple prime Democratic voters who will raise hell if their benefits are being cut. And so that's exactly why we need things like universal child care, and we're fighting right now at the state level to make sure that we're taxing the wealthiest New Yorkers, the most profitable corporations, so that the universal child care program that our wonderful mayor has just rolled out is truly universal and durable for the long term. Because otherwise it's just going to be a temporary win and not the kind of program that will actually help New Yorkers.
Absolutely. So let's talk about New York politics in particular. You're a state assembly member. You brought up an initiative about social housing in New York. You also brought up that like a version of social housing already exists, or public housing exists in New York, even though it's underfunded. So do you want to talk a little bit more about that? I'm going to be meeting with the DSA slate tomorrow as well.
Amazing.
Yeah,
totally. Well, I mean, on DSA slate, hi slate mates, really great to have you all on the slate together. Really incredible organizers kind of all over the city who are running for, the same things that we always fight for: taxing the rich, making sure that our transit is fully funded, making sure that our housing is beautiful and equitable and truly affordable, making sure that the child care program, again, is truly universal, durable for the long term, is not going to sundown in 2 years, and fighting to protect our neighbors from ICE. There are a few pieces of legislation on the table that would protect immigrant communities here in New York. One of them is New York for All, which would end the complicity or the collaboration between local law enforcement and federal ICE immigration enforcement, which needs to pass this session. It's a big push from a lot of immigrant coalition work, and really essential. The governor is moving on immigration, but she's not going nearly far enough. So there's that. There's access to representation to make sure that if you do end up in immigration proceedings, that you have a lawyer present, you have representation. The MELT Act to make sure that ICE agents can't cover their faces.
to make sure we melt them.
Melt ice, baby. A lot of proposals on the table, but the ICE is something that, it's terrifying, and the chilling effect in New York is really, really bad. I talked to school principals who tell me that their kids are disappearing because they're having to work and drive Ubers and Lyfts because their parents are afraid to go out and actually do work.
Yeah.
It's a really untenable situation, and we need our state representatives to step up right now.
Sorry, I'm just grabbing Zin. You go on.
And Hochul wants to tax Zin too. I don't know if you.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Hey,
Sorry.
chill.
Sorry,
Chill.
Chad.
I was a big Hochul fan until this very moment. Kathy Hochul, my goat.
The only revenue on the table, unfortunately, is coming out of your good old Zin users.
I mean, I don't
Sorry,
care.
folks.
Yeah. I'm rich. Tax it. Also, I'm in favor of taxing vices.
Yes.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's a very unpopular thing to do,
It's unpopular,
but
but
I'm in favor of it.
that's right.
Okay, so also I'm not from New York, so
New Jersey.
well, I live in LA.
Okay.
So for me, I don't know. I don't think gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom is doing that anytime soon.
No,
He
unlikely.
better not. Watch out. So, all right, let's talk about Hochul a little bit. So, do you feel like she is cooperative so far? I mean, she's universal child care is pretty good.
It's good. Like I said, we only have funding for 2 years of full universal child care, and so we have to tax the rich, baby. And really, our power is going to come from the movement that helped elect Zoran. The power is going to come from the movement that hopefully is going to elect, a bunch of new assembly members, Democratic Socialist assembly members, to the New York State Legislature. And the power is going to come from the thousands and thousands of people who were shouting and chanting "Tax the Rich" and Kathy Hochul at Forest Hill Stadium a few months ago. So that movement is really the thing that has to be sustained and maintained, and people have to stay ready to talk to their neighbors, to knock doors, to talk to their representatives who aren't budging. That's the energy.
Damn, we got paid protesters.
Sorry.
We got paid supporters.
That's the movement that's going to sustain the call to tax the rich, and it's actually going to make it happen. So that's the organizing that DSA and a bunch of other organizations are doing in the next few months, but it's going to take all of us doing it. There's a mass mobilization to go to Albany on February 25th. If you're in New York and you want to come up, please hit us up. We need 10,000 New Yorkers to come to Albany and make this demand really clear.
So what's the dynamic of the state assembly look like right now, as far as like state assembly members that are, let's say, you know, team Zoran, team DSA, team like this entire DSA slate versus antagonistic towards that, towards these policies?
I mean,
what's the breakdown like? What's the percentage breakdown, give or take?
Hard to nail that number down. I'm not good at the math piece on this, but what I will say is that the mayor's race demonstrated there is a really broad constituency for like a democratic socialist platform, obviously, and so that has really sent shockwaves through a lot of the political world in New York State, and so everyone's talking about affordability, everyone's talking about utilities are too high, rent's too high, childcare is too high, and we need to really take aggressive action to make sure that our constituents aren't being left out in the actual cold, which is incredibly comfortable right now. But so people are moving a lot. People are moving. I think this is a year of real opportunity, given Zoran's election, given the governor's race, given the kind of like true affordability crisis that New Yorkers are facing. And so we're working on it. Like I said, it's going to take a real movement to organize to make sure that we get the revenue raises we deserve and need to make sure that the city is whole, the state is whole. We're negotiating a $252 billion budget right now. It's a lot of money. We have the resources to do what we need to do.
So how do we ensure that the spoilers on this agenda that are backed by corporate interests, that will specifically play the role of undermining the legislative agenda at the state level, that will of course impact New York City, how do we apply pressure towards them?
We need their constituents to speak, you know. Here's what people respond to, what politicians respond to. Constituent power, voter power, and of course they respond to their donors, but there are a hell of a lot more of us than there are of the donor class. And so we need, again, the mass mobilization of people either coming to Albany, talking to their neighbors, making time to meet with their representatives, and making the case known that we have the room to tax the wealthiest New Yorkers, the most profitable corporations, and it is required of a mass movement to take on these corporate interests. Otherwise, we're gonna be screwed. And I think what I believe as a union organizer is that your average Joe has immense potential and immense political power, and what we need is to organize together to fight for the things we need.
Yeah. I mean, I ask this question all the time, given your experience so far in the state assembly. Some of your colleagues, and I don't take any offense to this, I asked this to Rashida Tlaib, I asked this to every politician I talk to, and every elected I talk to. Would you say they're cynical or stupid? Like, the issue is, like the most common, the reason why I ask this question is like, it's commonly around Israel, right? Like, there's obviously a groundswell of support for Palestinians, unlike ever in American history. It's an 80-20 issue favoring the side of the Palestinians, especially in the Democratic Party. This is a very blue city. This is a very blue state. And yet there are Democrats who don't abide by the interests of the base of support here. Is their inability to address this coming from a place of cynical posturing because they care more about AIPAC or they care more about Zionist donors that they have to their campaigns who care about Israel quite a bit? Or is it actually stupidity and they're still 2 years into this genocide very out of touch?
I think it's cynicism, to be honest. I think people are looking at a donor landscape rather than a mass movement landscape. They're kind of unwilling to see that the status quo is changing. It's changing from underneath their feet. And they're having a hard time catching up with that because the political status quo is how a lot of people came to office. You know, a lot of people went to the traditional track of doing politics as usual and have arrived at seats of power. And now we're trying to grapple with the fact that that's not how it's going to operate anymore. That we're mobilizing, that we're going to fight to take these seats back. We're going to fight for Palestinian liberation. That especially in New York and within the Democratic Party, that there's a mass recognition that you cannot claim to be progressive. You cannot claim to speak for human rights if you are not also calling for the end of the genocide and the liberation of Palestine. So they're gonna fall behind at their own peril. But.
And it's not even. This is no longer a question of being like brave politically, even though, you know, even in the last 2 years there have been tremendous institutional stigma still applied to those who dare to protest against these atrocities. At this point, it's undeniable that this played a role in Kamala Harris losing the election. This is an issue that the Democrats are completely on the opposing side of, and it's up to the electeds to realize which side they're on. Are they going to side with humanity? Are they going to side with barbarity? Or are they going to side with humanity and their base of support on it?
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not just the elections, I think, that are a vehicle of pressure. Because it's very clear that Democrats are willing to burn an election and allow an incompetent, tyrannical fascist like Donald Trump to come back into power.
Sorry.
We got a lot of fans.
And they're all bowlers. Who knew? Wow.
Yeah.
An athletic base.
Yeah. Now I know why you wanted to do it here. Are you a demon on the bowling?
Hardly, but we'll see. Bowling is one of those things where every time I do it, I'm like, what if I'm actually really good at this?
Oh,
and
so you don't
I'm
even
not.
know?
No, I do know. I'm not good at it.
I'm really bad at bowling, which is why I was like, let's not do this. Let's not do this at a bowling alley.
Don't bowl.
I suck at bowling.
Most do.
Even when I have the bumpers on, I still hit like maybe one at most.
What I've been told is that the lanes here can be a little dippy too, so you can always take that as the reason why.
I like that we have an excuse ahead of time.
It's really
That's
helpful
good.
to have. Yeah, go ahead and just check it out.
Did you have the nachos? Is it good? Damn. The person that runs this place is a fan, bro. Yeah, good. They can't hear you anyway, apparently. They can't hear anything, apparently. They're fucking freaking out still.
I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Brave gutter guards? Yeah. I need the gutter guards and I still can't do it. So, you're originally from Texas.
It's true.
How did your background and your upbringing in Texas, how did you find socialism? Let's talk about that. This is one of my favorite things to hear from other people.
I think I found socialism through working. So I've had a lot of bad jobs, like many of us. I bagged groceries, I worked at Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, combination. I worked at Trader Joe's for many years. I came to New York for work, to work at a gallery here in Long Island City actually. And I think before I identified as anything else in my life, I identified as a worker, as somebody who had to come in, clock in, stand on your feet all day, get burns at Taco Bell, freeze in Trader Joe's coolers. And my socialism really came out of the idea that bosses suck, workers deserve everything, and when we organize together, we can win the living conditions, the working conditions and living conditions, the living wages we deserve. And I joined DSA in 2019, kind of after after seeing AOC get elected, after seeing Senator Julia Salazar be elected here in New York, and just seeing not so much that they got elected, but that everyday normal-ass people were the ones who got elected. Like regular people came together and beat this consulting class, the Democratic establishment, and that was really inspiring. So I joined DSA, I got involved with the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020, I went and knocked a bunch of doors, pandemic hit, the rest is history. But what has kept me in DSA is this, it's deeply democratic. We recognize a lot of expertise and power and thoughtfulness in each other, and we make these endorsements based on our shared analysis and strategy. And like, the Democratic Party doesn't give a shit if you have thoughts about like who they should endorse or who should run. But in DSA, we really think hard about which districts, why now, who's that candidate, and make these kind of calls together. And it's really, I don't know, I love it. It's nerdy, it's tedious, but I like it a lot. It's the most democratic process that I have ever experienced.
Something that Bernie Sanders said when endorsing Ana Lulia Mejia in the now upset victory, the underdog victory that she's about to receive in New Jersey 11. Something that he said on the campaign trail for her, I thought was really enlightening about the strategy that we have here, which is that I think he said, our fight is not just with the Republicans. You know, same old business as usual politics in the Democratic side is also something that needs to change. Our fight is with the establishment Democrats as well. Do you see yourself as representative of a different politics?
Yeah, absolutely.
For that reason?
100%.
That you will take the fight to establishment Democrats as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason that our fight is with Republicans and establishment Democrats alike is because they share the same donors. They're still funded by AIPAC, they're still funded by real estate, they're still funded by corporate interests who have a stake in gutting our labor protections, in keeping us in as precarious a situation as possible so they can make a maximum profit. And that is the fight. That's the real fight. And if we have to go through establishment Democrats to win that fight too, we will.
What are some of the biggest hurdles you feel like you must climb as a socialist elected? Do you feel like there's still a lot of stigma around the word socialism, Marxism?
In some ways, yeah. I will say New York 7 is probably the most progressive left district in the entire country. It is the heart of the Commie Corridor here in New York City, and it's represented at the state level in almost every corner by a Democratic Socialist. So if there's any district in the country that is primed for a Democratic Socialist Congress member, it is New York 7. But there's, you still meet some suspicion with the words. There's still stigma. The right has done a very good job.
And the liberals too.
And the liberals too, yeah, absolutely.
Which I would consider to be reactionary and right-wing.
Yeah,
but
100%. No, there's been a long propaganda program against the idea of democratic socialism, erasing them from the labor movement, and that's to our movement's history's detriment. But I think what we represent is a positive program for working people, housing for all, healthcare for all, a 4-day work week, time off, a retirement, pensions, all of those things are won by leftists. And that's what most working people are hungry for.
Yeah, I think there is a concept of consensus politics in the current duopoly that exists in America. You got the liberal Democratic Party, and you have the conservative Republican Party. What's up? Oh, damn! Let's go.
Yeah. That's so much pico.
I think we need a fork. I think. God damn.
You need water or something?
No, I'm good. Wait, I'll order a Diet Bev.
Nice.
I need a Diet Bev for sure.
You Diet Coke Zero?
Well, it's BDS, but which I do try to keep.
Yeah.
to the best of my ability, you know?
For sure.
There you go. Can you give me a diet soda? Thank you. That's a lot of salsa.
There's a lot of pico in one place.
Let's see. So look, I'm a LA guy now. I'm basically a LA native at this point. I've been living there for like 13 years. So let's see if this holds up to the same standards.
It will not. Stop you right there. It's not going to.
No, that's bomb.
Okay, great.
I love the with nachos. I love the shitty melted cheese. I prefer it.
I do too. I'm tracking the best nachos in New York 7. Stiff competition. There's some good shit out there. But the bad melted cheese is like the
What's
best.
your background, by the way? Like, what's your ethnicity?
Native American, Mexican American. Yeah. Family's been in Texas and the Southwest United States before it was the Southwest United States.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do they say the border crossed us? You hear that?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like that's what people in Texas say.
Sure. And it did.
So, what do you think about the GOP efforts that have been quite successful in the state of Texas as far as getting the Hispanic population on board with the GOP agenda? Why do you think that happened?
I mean, this is like boss shit 101, you know, like turn working people against each other. And I think it's a real detriment to the working class that class politics have been like totally evacuated from so many of our conversations about how we operate in the world. You know, like if you are a worker, if you're struggling to pay rent, you are my brother, you're my sister, you're my sibling. And we have a lot more in common than we do with some millionaire donor or, you know, billionaire who's trying to tell us that, you know, some poor brown person is trying to take your job or trying to take your apartment or trying to take your housing. And it's just, they've been very successful at turning us against each other. And the Democratic Party has not done nearly enough to try and reframe who our enemies are. And again, it's because they're Democratic donors too. But it's terrible. It's really sad to see. I think what I found really inspiring about Zoran's campaign is that he flipped Republican voters and people who sat out the 24 election entirely. He flipped them back to voting for, you know, a democratic socialist because we were running an economic populist platform that resonated with people.
Oh.
Hi!
Sorry, chat. One sec.
Yeah, would you like some nachos?
Okay, I'm drinking coffee, nachos and coffee. Seems like it would be a little
A bridge too far.
bridge too far. Yeah.
Sure. And actually, not right now. All right. Is it everybody? Is it everybody in the?
I believe so, yeah.
Everyone's in the shot.
Yes.
All right.
If
Sick
you want-
hat.
If you want an intro.
Actually,
I'm getting you that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I hope that you can enjoy it in like nicer LA weather rather than like.
I got used to it I got a little acclimated in Minneapolis, and then I went to Doha, and I got used to nice weather again, because Doha's like 80 degrees. I came here with no jacket. Like, I didn't have enough space in my luggage to pack for New York weather. And I thought I could just like buy a jacket or tank it, get some heat tech or something from Uniqlo.
We're not even prepared.
Yeah, they're
shelves
sold
are
out.
empty too.
They're sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been bad. It's been bad here for weeks now.
I know.
So
And my parents are here to help me with my kids because I just got elected to office and I have to travel a lot. And my parents are here from Florida. And I'm like, I am so profound. But I'm
Where are they
pretty
from
sure we're
originally?
from Ecuador. So we're already like warm-blooded people from the equator. Yeah. And they live in Florida. So yeah, this is not the plan.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Do you want to introduce yourself in the chat?
Sure, yeah. Hey folks, Diana Moreno, new Assemblywoman representing the 36th District in Queens, Astoria, Long Island City. Formerly, some guy used to represent it. I don't know, Zohran Mamdani, you may have heard of him. So yeah, had an election on Tuesday, was up in Albany and sworn in on Wednesday. Back in Queens already. So wild.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We're delighted to have Diana in the state assembly. She's an amazing organizer, democratic socialist. So yeah, it's great.
Thank you, Claire. I'm so glad I can serve with you for at least one term before we get you to DC.
As a state assembly member.
What is it? What'd you say?
As a state assembly member, what are some of the immediate, like, high priority things that you're looking to do within the DSA slate?
Well, the first bill that I signed on to on Wednesday when I was sworn in was New York for All. We are obviously under a crisis with our immigrant communities being under attack. I've already been dealing with ICE activity in our district, and it's been really tough. And so yeah, we have to pass New York for All. There's a bunch of other slew of legislation that we have to push for. The Melt Act to unmask ICE agents and others. But I don't think that legislating will be enough. As Claire could probably tell you, it's really going to take massive Minneapolis-style people on the streets, on the ground, pushing Democratic leadership beyond the state assembly to stand up. I mean, we have two senators in New York that are, one of them is like the leadership of Democrats that have failed immigrant communities even before Trump. So, we have a lot of work to do, and we can't just rely.
Name names.
Senator Schumer needs to grow a fucking spine and stand up for immigrant workers. I called him out as an immigrant New Yorker, and I'm ready to do so again as a legislator. We have to do more. Yeah. And I mean, Gillibrand too.
He's too busy getting animated at the pro-Israel rallies he's attending. That's the only thing that seemingly gets him excited.
The only spark of passion I've seen.
I've never seen that man so heated up when talking about how he's doing everything in his power to defend Israel.
Yeah.
If only he had like a little bit of that for his own constituents.
And you see the way things are shaping. I mean, I'm so excited that electorally people are projecting impact in historic ways. I mean, really the way that popular opinion is shifting before our eyes, and the way that these people are like almost like refusing to respond to that, and just kind of like holding on to the last grips of power. It's just doesn't bode well for us as we're facing fascism.
I think part of that is like the collective consciousness shifting so dramatically on this issue. As someone who's been anti-Zionist for, like openly, publicly anti-Zionist for the last decade plus of my professional media career, I've seen this dramatic sea change, and I welcome it, of course. But I think a lot of people discount how that sea change came about, and I think a big reason for why the average American was even aware of the atrocities that were unfolding in Gaza was partially because people were protesting. People were making it impossible to avoid. And I think that's why protests are very important, regardless of how some people might feel about them and think like, oh, we're not getting the change necessary as fast as we would want. Because the crisis is so large that it's understandable that you want change to happen overnight. But I think it takes time. and we mustn't discount people's, people taking matters in their own hands, people taking action, people demonstrating to apply pressure both to elected representatives, but also to engage in these broad awareness initiatives. Now, one of the protests is the work stoppage that's currently taking place. You have the beanie on. Let's talk about the nurses.
So before I ran for office, I was working for the nurses union full time. I was a communications person for the nurses, right? So I spent 3 years listening to our nurses' stories. I was already a very strong proponent of Medicare for All. I identified as a democratic socialist. But not until I worked with our nurses and heard firsthand the way that the profession has been eroded through decades of corporate consolidation, through decades of our private healthcare system failing not just patients but workers. I feel that I was radicalized. And it's no surprise to me that the corporate bosses, after the historic strike of 2023, are pushing back. Because the nurses won such historic concessions from the boss in 2023. I mean, financial restitution for understaffing, that's like unheard of in the profession, right?
What are some of the big areas of need with nurses right now?
Staffing, and staffing. That means
It's common everywhere where there is a nurse strike. It's always the same. That's what my nurses tell me as well in my community. Is that hospitals routinely refuse to staff adequately. Nurses are overworked. The patient per nurse ratios are completely out of whack, which actually diminishes the quality of care. It's bad for the patients, it's bad for the nurses. And then when these sorts of demands are made, oftentimes hospitals would rather pay traveling nurses to scab and pay them exorbitant fees, much higher fees than the actual staffed unionized nurses, in an effort to continue, in an effort to basically break the back of the striking labor force that they already have.
Another one of the issues too is that the hospitals are starting to use AI for patient intake. So they're even like starting to take away jobs from union nurses and rely on outsourcing these union jobs to technology and to like very faulty technology rather than unregulated technology rather than pay the staffing that is required to keep these hospitals run and make sure that patients are getting the care that they deserve. It's disgusting.
there's no question that AI is an issue. The way that corporations are using this unregulated technology to essentially experiment on how to replace human nursing care, which, as we know, is irreplaceable. But for example, one of the things that our nurses are talking about now is workplace violence. Nursing has one of the highest rates of workplace violence of any other profession, and that is also a staffing issue.
Okay, I have a solution.
I'm sorry?
Give every nurse a gun.
I'll let our nurses union, if that's a demand they have on their contract, let's go.
Okay, so maybe that's not the best idea. I'm just throwing ideas out there, you know?
The nurses strike is incredible. It's like historic. There's 50,000 nurses out right now. It's really amazing to see. We were on the picket line last night, like lots of energy, even the brutal cold. But this is also like such a moment for labor. There's organizing happening at Amazon warehouses here in New York. There are 2 Amazon warehouses that are just organizing with Teamsters. Starbucks workers have been out. They're concluded their strike now, but for many months, there's Starbucks baristas demanding a contract. There's a lot of activity happening right now, and I think it's because workers are fed up with the status quo and the paltry wages and working conditions. But it's really inspiring to see there's a lot of hope right now in the labor movement.
Yes. So fuck this fucking cold winter.
Yes.
Because our nurses need to be out there every day, and unfortunately it's been really tough. So I really encourage everybody to donate to the strike fund.
Yes.
Donate to the hardship fund. Because our nurses have been out there for over 3 weeks now. It's really cold. They really need all of our support.
What are some ways that the hospital is trying to withstand the work stopping?
As you mentioned, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars on scab nurses. They're hiring scabs to treat patients. That's one of the ways, right? And another way is the narrative war. They're trying to make it seem like our nurses are greedy because they're asking for what is a respectful wage, especially considering how hard they work. I don't think that that's anything, considering the fact that one of our hospital CEOs in New York Presbyterian makes $26 million a year. I don't think that a nurse asking for a respectful wage increase can be considered greedy. But again, it's a narrative war, right?
But don't you think he worked 26 million times harder?
I don't.
Okay.
In fact,
I don't think it's possible to work harder than a union nurse.
literally, I would love to see it. I would pay money to see the CEO of New York Presbyterian
Try to do
12-hour
patient
shift.
care?
Do a 12-hour shift. Be on their feet. Just wait to pee as long as our nurses wait to go to the fucking bathroom.
Well, if we had adequate protections on the labor side, they would be forced to basically make the front office do that work. But that leads me to my second question. What are some of the initiatives that the government is taking right now that is actually siding with capital, which is expected, even though a lot of people think, oh, New York, it's blue, it's woke. Now understanding that liberal Democrats still are a reactionary force and oftentimes a hurdle against labor actions such as this one. So what are some of the things that the state government is doing currently?
Yeah, so the state government. I mean, many things, right? Because again, we talked about the deterioration of our healthcare system and healthcare workforce for decades, and it's been absolutely a bipartisan effort to allow hospital corporations to become conglomerates at the pace and rate at which they have, which is why corporations like Mount Sinai, Montefiore, and New York Presbyterian can become the behemoths that they are, and they can close down maternity clinics, and then they can open up, I don't know, like plastic surgeon and orthopedic clinics, because those happen to be a lot more of a profitable, profitable healthcare.
Shutting out a funding mechanism at the state level for their Medicare. Shouts out to Andrew Cuomo.
That's right, exactly, right? And then we're like, oh no, let's do a study of like why, Black maternal mortality is like really high. It was like, well, yes. It's really, and so this is another reason why I'm so excited to sign on to the New York Health Act, because we have a chance in New York to be the model for something different. New York Health Act, for those who don't know, it's like Medicare for all at the state level, right? It would create a single payer system right here in New York, and that's one way to combat what's going on and what we've allowed our nurses to have to deal with.
How do we get that across? Are there enough votes for it?
Like everything, I think Claire and I probably have a similar stance where it's like, I think as an organizer, I don't think as like, are there enough votes? I'm like, is there enough energy on the ground to push for this? And I think that a nurses strike of over 3 weeks is a great opening to say, hey, this is not working. The current system in which these CEOs that make tens of millions of dollars a year that can tell the nurses like, oh, no, sorry. We actually have a great public healthcare system in New York, health and hospitals. Our New York health and hospital system is a public healthcare system in New York City that I think is a great model for a robust public healthcare system that serves all New Yorkers regardless of ability to pay, regardless of immigration status. That's really how so many immigrant New Yorkers survived the pandemic, right? It was through the incredible health and hospital system. So we have a model of a robust healthcare system that actually is also a really good model for staffing, because our health and hospital nurses got a huge raise in 2023 after the private sector strike. And H&H also hired thousands of nurses, and guess what? Service for the patients got better. Our nurses' rate of satisfaction got better. So
Don't you feel like making them afraid by reducing the size of the workforce makes it a more efficient process for our true American patriots, the capital owners, the real hard workers, like the earners. Let's be real, the bosses, the guys with an MBA, not the guys with like an MD, or not the people that are like, they have a nursing degree, but the real hard workers in the hospital.
So they should be the ones that are a little bit afraid, and I think that we need to do a better job of making sure that they're afraid and to giving power to our nurses.
Okay, I'm not sold on it. I love.
My God, dude! I would love next time you're in New York, I'm gonna bring my nurses here because I'm telling you, I never want to be on the bad side of an immigrant union nurse. They're fucking badass. They should actually be running the state. Oh, actually, one of them is.
And one of them is
Farrah.
from Paris.
We have a union nurse as our assembly colleague who's also a DSA member, who's a badass. So shout out to Farrah, it was her birthday a couple days ago. Shout out.
Cool.
And she takes her shit.
What is the status with, because hospitals are a necessary, what's the term for it? I mean, it's like there's an emergency initiative in place, right? To make sure that the hospitals stay open, or to allow hospitals like additional cover to hire outside of the labor unions, right? Like, what are some of the mechanisms in the state that are in play right now that make it harder for the nurses to strike?
Yeah. Well, I mean, nurses are always very, very clear that they never want to strike.
Yeah.
That they've been forced to strike, and that they always also say that patients should never avoid seeking care, regardless of the labor situation, right? So, because nurses are always thinking of their patients first, which is like what makes me, pisses me off so much. Like, that's why they're out there, right? And of course, again, going back to the point that healthcare is a human right, so they should never be put in a position where they're forced to strike, because everybody should have access to healthcare at any time. And so it's kind of ironic, right, that we have these mechanisms in place to allow hospitals to hire staff nurses because they know that hospitals are essential. Yet we allow hospitals to be private entities that, even though in New York are quote-unquote not-for-profit, you still have a level of wealth in which a CEO makes tens of thousands of dollars a year. So again, I think this is a really good moment for us to bring into question that very system and to push for the public healthcare system.
And they also operate off of subsidies by the state and local governments.
Yes.
There's no world where hospitals have ever been like a purely profitable system. That's precisely the reason why around the world,
Yes.
most hospitals are controlled by the government to a certain degree.
Right.
And here, even in the United States of America, if we had a normal system of governance,
Yes.
they would be controlled by the government, and they would not be operating at the behest of like profit seekers, or operating as though there is a profit-seeking alternative, even if it's not, even if they're running at a loss at all times. So this is more about demanding more from the subsidies that we pay, as well as like a random person. If you're not a nurse, you're still paying into the hospital system with your taxes, and it's totally reasonable to demand more for your taxes to make sure that your hospital runs as efficiently as possible. And in this process, I mean, better for the nurses, better for the caregivers, and therefore better for the patients overall.
100%. We're also at a moment when the Trump administration is cutting back on Medicaid, and many thousands of New Yorkers are potentially about to be kicked off of their Medicaid because the subsidies are running out, and are going to be forced to choose whether or not they go onto the ACA or buy private health insurance, or just forego health insurance entirely. And that puts a huge strain on the hospital system, no matter whether you have insurance or not. Fewer people who are able to access health care hurts everyone. It hurts the hospitals, hurts the nurses, hurts the entire patient pool. And so, another excellent reason for Medicare for the federal level and the New York Health Act at the state level. We really have a window here, an argument to be made for the healthcare people.
Yeah.
Gotta fight for it though.
Claire was there! I feel like
She's too famous for us now.
I feel like she paid. I feel like she paid for pro Claire people to just keep passing by. Zoran didn't have as much motion when I was interviewing him. They weren't even people that were coming up to him like that. That's crazy.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. All right. Well, are we gonna go bowling? Are you gonna come bowl with us?
I mean, if you want me to embarrass myself,
I think we're all gonna embarrass
if
ourselves.
you want me to really get humbled after winning like a really good victory on Tuesday, I guess this could be my life. Okay, like, get back to the ground. Get back on the ground.
Trust me, I'm gonna lose.
From Brianna.
The gutter.
Oh. We got some time. I mean,
It's on your schedule.
that's true.
You can do literally as long as you want.
That was amazing. Like, this is-
Yeah, we got half an hour. Maybe we don't bowl.
It's up to you.
What's up?
Scoop and go a little bit this
Yeah,
way.
sure.
Yeah, it's the microphone. The bowling alley is not the best place to do a sit-down interview. There's a lot of background noise, and chatters have been complaining about it. But you just gotta like really yell.
Okay.
Sorry, chatters.
But you guys have been doing great.
You've been great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I mean, we can do like, how long does a game of bowling take?
It's crazy. You don't know.
Do you know?
I mean, as long as you
Yeah,
want
rounds.
to.
I think it depends.
No, how long?
You can kind of like dip in and out if you want to.
Oh, you don't know.
How long?
Oh, you don't know. Marsh was like, oh, that's crazy, you don't know. And I asked him, how long do you think it is? And he said,
One game's like 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
we can play one
Maybe
game.
Depends on how many players.
Depends on how you play.
If there's only a few of us, we'll go lickety split.
Let's do one game.
Alright. Thanks for letting me crash your.
Oh, so you're dipping? No, you're playing.
No,
Just
no,
kidding.
just sit there. We'll
Oh.
The lanes are not ready.
The lanes are not ready, never
Alright,
mind.
never mind. Damn. I
You got
was
sick.
comfortable with-
I think she's a demon.
I'm actually a shark. Yeah.
I think she's a demon
I can see
bowler.
it. I can
Cause
see
like,
it.
cause I literally was like, let's not do bowling.
I was like, oh, I actually really love bowling.
And yeah, Andrew was like, we have to bowl. Claire's cracking the whip. She put her foot down. She's like, we're bowling.
I have a feeling that you are. It's like you see Claire, very short, unassuming, you know, like really polite, and then you like get her in front of a mic on a picket line, and you're like, what the you know, like she's like the sharpest one, the loudest one out there.
Yeah. Give me a 7-pound bowling ball, and you have no idea what I have back.
Oh, we're about to find out. I'm very timid and also very bad at bowling. So we'll see.
I appreciate it. Me too. That makes me feel a little less.
Yeah, no, don't worry. You are gonna look good.
This is how you like square up for bowling. You're saying, oh, I'm just like I'm so bad at.
Yeah, I'm hustling you guys.
Yeah. We're gonna hustle.
Yeah, I'm actually a 3-time champion in my alley back home. No, not at all. I'm very bad at bowling.
Was it 300? Is that it?
I see. I don't know. The last time I bowled was actually at a nice staff retreat, and I embarrassed myself.
Does this one have the crazy animations? That's what I like at the bowling alley.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't been here in like years.
When's the last time you bowled?
The nice staff retreat a year ago or so.
When's the last time you bowled?
I feel like at a random birthday party a few years ago. And I'm forgetting.
A few years ago.
I'm busy.
We're over here, like, you know, in the assembly, running for Congress, you know? No, we need more time for hobbies, for like a random bowling night, you know?
4-day work week.
Yeah, 4-day work week, yeah.
What are some of your hobbies? Both of you guys.
Oh, I don't have hobbies anymore. I love hanging out with my cat. I'm a gardener. I love gardening. Not so much recently because it's been cold, but I'll be doing my seedlings indoors, raising a little garden soon. Touching grass.
So I also no longer really have hobbies because I'm too busy. However, I am a crafter. I'm super proud of universal childcare. So I dressed up in like a onesie that had the galaxy on it, and I sewed little babies on myself. So it was universal childcare. And then my kid was an MTA driver, so I sewed like a little MTA patch.
You are a nerd.
I am such a nerd.
That's crazy.
Oh my god.
That's what you chose for Halloween?
Of course.
Universal child. That's worse than me. My chatters make fun of me because I have no hobbies and all I do is stream and this basically. This is all I do. Turns out I'm not alone here. That's good.
Oh no.
See?
Total nerd.
What were you for Halloween?
What was I for Halloween? I don't even remember. Did I even go out on Halloween? Marsh, did I go out on Halloween? Chat.
Chat. What was the song?
Oh, I was Superman. Yeah, that was for stream.
Can I show you my costume?
Yes. That's crazy. That's very cute though.
That is so cute.
That's awesome.
And you gotta just like feel, even have like the butt, like the little like, and of course that's all him, but you got like the bus driver.
Yeah, he's got the bus driver belly.
So cute.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Just swapping lanes, they're getting shoes back, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
We need shoes.
You all do need bowling shoes.
Yeah. Damn, she does not know anything about bowling. That's crazy.
Should we try and keep the pins up, or do we?
We're not rolling with bumpers here, right? We're doing it for real.
We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot.
We're going for cash. Yeah.
So yeah, I also have a little baby, so I definitely don't have hobbies anymore.
I feel that. What about TV shows? You guys watch TV shows?
I'm watching Game of Thrones for the first time right now.
Oh, get ready for disappointment.
Damn. Don't do that to her.
I mean, it's true though. After a certain point, it's going to be very disappointing. In the beginning, it's awesome.
It's so good so far. I just watched the Red Wedding episode like a week ago, and I was like,
I watched season 1, and I couldn't wait for season 2, so I read all the books.
oh wow.
And then I never went back to watching it. So I never actually ended up watching Game of Thrones.
But
But
did you watch it when it was like out originally?
I watched the first season when it was out originally, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for this. This is ridiculous. So I read all the books.
Yeah.
And then I never went back to watching the show.
Okay.
But I've heard great things and then very sad things.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm on the great. I'm on the up and up, so like no spoilers.
What about you? What do you want?
I'm all in on the pit right now.
Ooh, I've heard good things. I've heard good things. I've heard it's actually kind of lefty.
Yeah, it's a little like pedantic sometimes, but I'm having a good time. It's fun.
It's
I've heard the
woke.
nurses are fans.
It's a little woke.
First season is very woke, but I didn't like the second season as much.
Okay.
But we'll see. Maybe it's good. I started watching the second season and I was like, it doesn't hit as hard as the first one. But yeah, it was very good.
She's like that.
And all the healthcare professionals I've talked to have said like this is exactly what an emergency room is like.
Oh wow.
And they do it hour by hour, like 24. So it's like every hour in the show is a real hour in the real world.
It's good. It's fun. I never saw 24, and so when the pit came out, I was like, it's hour by hour. And I was like, yeah, like 24.
I also watch a lot of anime, but I assume you guys are not big anime fans.
What are you watching?
Right now I'm rewatching Chainsaw Man.
I mean, I grew up on like Tsunami.
Oh, you did?
Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I like Cowboy Bebop a lot. It had a beautiful pathos to it. I was Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service for Halloween.
Okay, that's a much
It's
more
much more normal.
much more normal costume than Universal Child Care.
Listen.
Yeah,
Like very proud nerd. And actually, that costume, I met like a really good friend through that, who like became like a campaign volunteer. She like saw me in the street with the costume and was like, "You're
always-
Universal Child Care."
You're always hustling.
Dude, I'm hustling. Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, Sigma grind set. Are you guys Twitter brain rotted or not?
I actually deleted my Twitter after Elon Musk bought it.
Smart.
Yeah, but then
I'm still in the trenches.
then I had to I re-upped when I started running